Like so many, I believe in Australia 100% powered by renewable energy, which is why I'm so excited to be here on Flinders Island to find out how they've achieved that incredible feat. Simon, this place is absolutely incredible and stunning. Can you tell me a little bit more about Flinders Island?
Flinders Island is in Bass Strait, off the northeast tip of Tasmania. About 800 people live here. The main industries are farming and also tourism. Up until the mid-80s, the township had its own little power station. The farms had their own little power generators. In the mid-80s, the whole island was reticulated, which meant that a central power station was put in, this power station over here. And then feeders run all over the island to give all the power from one place.
And where did that power come from?
Diesel. So this, affectionately say, was 4 engines in a shed, and that's what the power station was.
And what caused the transition to go from diesel to what we see today in the energy hub?
The cause was, there was a few. Hydro Tasmania did some work on King Island, which is at the other end of Bass Strait. Over there we put up a couple of wind turbines and then a couple more, and then we experimented with the battery and a resistor and some other things, and we came up with a solution over there that let us run high penetration up to 100% renewables. And then we took that and we said, okay, well, let's take all those learnings and put it into a slightly different implementation, and we put it on Flinders Island. It was driven by a need and a desire to reduce emissions. So we've gone to about 60% of our energy over the course of a year coming from renewables, and reduce some associated costs as well, but there is a cost in doing this. These systems can be scaled. Hydro have done a couple of other ones. We did one at Coober and we're involved in one at Rottnest Island as well. So when I say Hydro, I actually mean Insura, who's our consulting arm, but it's still Hydro owned. And Insura were also involved in a gold mine in WA called Agnew. That's got really high penetration wind and solar as well, combined with gas. We've done a lot of work on Pacific Islands and things as well.
I think what I love most about this project, and obviously having been on, and seen some of the generators and some of the power stations that have been created by Hydro Tasmania, they're absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. This is the first time I've seen Hydro Tasmania involved in wind and solar, which just shows the diversity and depth of the organisation, which for me is super inspiring. I mean, what was the process in terms of getting all this stuff installed? Did it start with wind? Did it start with solar?
It started with wind and then went to a bit of solar. And the other thing is all of what we call the enabling assets. So our diesel UPS and our resistor and our battery that all allow us to really capture the most out of our renewables. Another big part of it was we did get a lot of funding from ARENA, from the Australian Renewable Energy Association. At the time, it was a very new way of putting all these things together, and that's the kind of thing ARENA funds. And so they helped us on King and also quite a lot of funding here, and this has been very successful. This was one of the first proper, if you like, grid applications of really high penetration renewables. There were lots around that might be 10 houses or 20 houses or a small town. This is a full island with 350 kilometres of distribution line and wind and faults and all those things. And we've managed to do not only the high penetration station, but the whole network is now much more rugged and reliable because of what's in here.
If I wanted to relocate here, build a nice beautiful home here, I mean, how would I actually go about paying for my electricity that I'm not producing myself?
You get billed here the same as you would anywhere. We actually use Momentum to do our billing here on Flinders Island and King Island. And so Hydro do the generation and we distribute, and we do all the meter reading. We own the meters, but then we give all that data back to Momentum. And so your bill's a totally normal bill that you would get with Momentum. If you have solar on, it's just the same as normal solar.
And one thing that'll probably annoy everybody watching this who's on mainland Australia, the feed-in tariff I hear is absolutely ridiculously good.
It's 1-to-1.
1-to-1. Yeah. So essentially you're getting paid the same amount of money for everything you export as you'd pay to buy the electricity.
Correct. That's done to encourage solar to offset our costs of production.
Simon, how are these wind turbines behind us powering Flinders Island?
So the wind turbines, essentially, they obviously operate when there's wind, and they offset diesel. So any energy that's coming out of the wind turbines goes into the station and then out to the island, and that means we have to run less diesel. If it's really windy and both wind turbines are running at full output, that means we can turn our diesels off. That's a good situation for us, obviously, when that happens. But even when it's only partially windy, you can see now it's not very windy at all, and they're turning.
So those two wind turbines behind us could actually power the entire island at peak capacity?
Yep.
As an example of what's possible, with a combination of renewable energy assets, and to achieve at times 100% renewables at any given moment is absolutely sensational. So good on you, mate.
We're pretty proud of it. The first few times we went to zero diesel, we all sort of sat back and gave ourselves a little golf clap, because it's conceptually easy, but getting it implemented is relatively difficult.
Well, the dream is to go from where we're at now to 100% renewables, powering the entire country and hopefully at some point in the world. So well done for showing it can be done.
Thank you.